All right. Welcome back to the Backdoor Cover, presented by BTV, better than Vegas.com. I'm BlackJack Fletcher. This beautiful bastard is Kyle Purviance out here in Oregon. Kyle, what's going on, man? You had a little screening of Super Troopers today at home?
Yeah, I had a really, really good viewing. I'm doing a little backdoor covering myself today. The universe, the universe just unfolds in beautiful ways sometimes. I don't understand it. And I realize I've only got about 30 years left on this planet, so we're gonna let those weird things happen. But yeah, it was probably my favorite viewing ever of Super Troopers. I love that movie, but today was a special one. I'm sure she's watching from somewhere too. I don't know.
Yeah, sometimes the gods just smile upon us.
Exactly, exactly. And it's just because we do dumb shows like this. This fucking show is how it all happened.
Which is fucking insane if you
really,
sit back and think about it.
The shit that we have said just in our first two episodes.
Yeah.
The fact that you'd want to drive 2 hours to hang out, I don't understand it, but I'm grateful for the universe, and yeah, things worked out. It's the backdoor cover for a reason.
There you go, attaboy. All right, so we missed last week, obviously 4th of July.
Yep.
Big holiday for you. Good. Everything went good.
It was awesome. It was there was more fun with that one. I had another mission that night.
God.
She is 21. I'm friends with her parents, so her mom is a good friend of mine. Said, "Don't you dare!" So she leaves her brother here to watch. Well, that was an easy solution. The kid wanted to drink his little heart out, so I give him a couple Jameson and ginger ales, make him take a couple shots. He passes out on the couch, and I proceed to get to work. So there were fireworks before, fireworks after. Everyone was safe. We had a great time. Tons of family here. So 4th of July was it's been a good couple weeks for me. I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Sounds like you're riding a heater, my friend.
I'm on a heater. Bets wise, it was a great weekend for that. Lots of fun here at Better Than Vegas. I mean, all the parlay stuff, and we got our boys going head to head. And then I just came through and showed them how to do a real parlay and how to make a winner. So hopefully they took notes last night.
You did. You nailed the UFC parlay, which we'll get to in a little bit. But let's start with the NBA Finals. The Bucks are on the board here, 2-1 now. Nice win for Milwaukee tonight. I know they kind of fucked you a little bit with that first quarter, but they delivered the rest of it for you.
Yeah.
Watching Game 3, having seen the first two games in Phoenix, is there what's your take on this series going forward? I still think this is Phoenix in 6. I mean, what do you think?
I agree with you. I mean, even that first quarter, I was actually impressed that Milwaukee was able to turn it around. Of course, Ayton getting into foul trouble. The recipe is easy for Phoenix. The high pick and roll, I'm going to say this over and over again, and Kendrick Perkins nailed it when he said the Milwaukee Bucks are a low IQ, dumb basketball team. Well, the Phoenix Suns, I think, are right there as well, even though Chris Paul is running things. Why they get away from this high pick and roll and do this isolation bullshit with Devin Booker, I just don't understand. The defender, Devin Booker, is going to struggle shooting in the series, even though Milwaukee did allow the 4th most fantasy points to opposing shooting guards during the year. But I just don't see Milwaukee continuing to be able to win. Maybe they could get game 4. I wouldn't trust it if Ayton stays out of foul trouble and they run that high pick and roll. They have no way. You saw it every time they run that. They have no answers. They inexplicably switch. They don't try to fight through the screens. And then, I mean, you've got PJ Tucker or Chris Paul or Booker trying to deal with DeAndre Ayton. Everything is easy for them there. I still think Phoenix takes this. I will say this, and I spent the last time we were here making fun of Giannis and kind of saying he's a fraud. Dude's got balls. I'm actually, my opinion of him is
impressed. Yeah.
I didn't like what he did in the first quarter today. That weird coming out in the first 3 minutes. I don't understand why he was asking to get taken out. But, I mean, he wasn't even supposed to play those first couple of games, and he's played 40 minutes of contest. He's balling out. So props to Giannis. Today went how we expected. You're down 2-0 in the finals. You go back home. You're going to smack him around in game 3. I think it was the easiest call you could make, and we got a nice juicy – 4.5 I thought was too low, and you got it at a nice price. So today didn't surprise me. But, yeah, I still like the Suns in this series.
Yeah, I do too. To what Chase here is saying, I'm surprised you were able to understand what Kendrick Perkins said, because normally I just can't. I need a translator.
Yeah,
Perkins
exactly.
to English. But yeah, I mean, listen, I think the DeAndre Ayton thing is still the focal point of this series to me. Like,
yep.
he there is no answer for him on the other end for Milwaukee. Brook Lopez is going to just get abused by Ayton.
Did you see the shit he was doing, trying to dribble the baseline and do reverse layups? Bro, you're 7'2". What the fuck are you doing?
That guy is – it's unbelievable to me, these guys that have this size. And Lopez is not like a slight 7'2" either. He's a big guy. He's built pretty well. Like, why are you not playing back to the basket? Why? I feel like I'm becoming an old person in front of my own eyes, but it's like, you're that fucking big. Just do it.
Yeah, I mean, didn't he used to do it? I feel like that's what he did when he was with the Nets for the longest time. I don't understand what the hell happened there. It's really, it's just bizarre, and it doesn't add any value to him. It just, for me, I mean, you're a 7'2" guy who can't get more than 6 rebounds in a game. You're pretty much a waste of space on the court, in my opinion. You may as well, like, if I'm Coach Bud's not smart enough to do this. I mean, the guy just looks like an overly depressed divorced guy at his 4th AA meeting. Every fucking time I see him, I swear, I call him the Mike McCarthy of the NBA because that's what he is. He's the lowest IQ coach I've ever seen have success. It's exactly what Mike McCarthy is in the NFL. I mean, I don't know why Bobby Portis isn't playing 40 minutes and Brook Lopez is just sitting on the bench because he's completely useless in every facet of the game. Completely useless.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about Portis. I mean, Portis was the spark plug to that run they went on in the second quarter. Yep. I mean, to hear a crowd in an NBA Finals game chanting Bobby Portis's name is not something I would have wagered on coming into the season.
That just tells you. First of all, it tells you how dumb the state is. Okay, Wisconsin, just the worst. I hate that state. I hate all the teams in the state. And what do you expect from people who wear cheese on their heads and run around, whatever. That's just a whole nother thing. But, yeah, I mean, they're chanting for Bobby Portis because they all know what we know. Brook Lopez is useless on the court, and P.J. Tucker is even almost more useless. Now, he was aggressive tonight. His defense helped, and I think he made one corner three, which, P.J. Tucker scored a point in a game. When you look at his props every time, it's over 2.5 points, 3.5 points, and he's going to play 35-plus minutes. I still like Phoenix in this one. I kind of hope they come out and win Game 4. I'm ready for the sham of finals to be over. I'm ready for the NBA to be out of the news. This NBA season has just bugged me from top to bottom. I don't know if it feels that. I feel so over the NBA right now. That's just how I feel.
I don't disagree with you, but the NBA won't be out of the news because then the real season starts, and that's the off season because in many ways that's more entertaining than the shit we're watching now.
In every way.
So, we'll see what happens there. But, yeah, I mean, I'm kind of with you. Like, the only reason I'm interested in this finals, I want to see Chris Paul win a ring. Other than that, I really don't care. Milwaukee is just a non-interesting team to me. Yep. If Chris Paul wasn't on this Phoenix team, I really wouldn't give a shit either.
Yeah. So, and it is a cool turnaround. I mean, I know they made a little run in the bubble last year, but it is cool. You sort of saw it like, oh, wow, what a throwaway thing. You're just kind of throwing Chris Paul to the Suns, and then so it is cool what they have done. And the fans in Phoenix are certainly one of the better home crowds. It's I don't know. I'm more meh. I'll be really upset if Milwaukee pulls us out. That'll be my absolute nightmare, having to listen to Bucks fans creamy because I bash this team over and over and over and over again. So my nightmare will be the Bucks winning, but I still think Phoenix takes it in 6. I really do. Yeah,
I think I'm with you there. We'll see how it goes in the next game in Game 4, but I think we're on the same page.
Yep.
Let's shift gears here to a little bit of combat sports. Yeah. Something we don't talk a ton about, but last night, by the way, you've got a little Conor McGregor vibe working there.
I hate that because I can't stand Conor McGregor, and I don't beat women. I don't beat women. First of all, I'm not a skilled combat fighter. I would get my ass absolutely handed to me in the ring. Although I would beat up one of those Paul kids. That would be fun. If they ever wanted to get in the ring, I would kick the shit out of one of those little Paul kids. But I mean, here's the thing I'll say about Conor. I don't like the guy. I think the sport has passed him by. It sort of reminds me when MMA started, when you started seeing guys become well-rounded. So like the Ken Shamrocks and the Chuck Liddells, those sorts of guys where they were no longer relevant unless they could get that one-punch knockout or that little ankle lock that he took to the WWF in Ken Shamrock's case.
Yeah.
But there's so many Conor McGregor fuckboys. There's so many of them. And, I mean, I made money off these idiots when he fought Floyd Mayweather. I can't tell you how many people I knew thought Conor McGregor was going to beat Floyd Mayweather in a boxing match. He has so many fuckboys that will just – the line was way too short. Dustin Poirier should have been a minus 425 favorite in that fight.
Wow.
You're talking about a guy in Conor who had one path to victory, and that's a knockout in the first round, in the first minute of the first round, and that's it. He has no ground skills, no submission skills, no wrestling skills. The only thing he has is the flash knockout early in that fight. He doesn't have the cardio either to hang for 5 rounds. It was clear to me, and I even had a buddy. I sent him that parlay that I put out on Twitter, and he goes, well, I took everything, but I took Conor. Like, I don't know why he wouldn't take Conor. And I'm like, because he doesn't have a path to victory. But the fuck boys don't understand that Dustin Poirier was going to win that fight with his eyes closed. He was.
Well, I think there's a couple of things, right? First, I think the Conor, and I am not the biggest UFC guy around. I fully admit that I'm not. I think Conor McGregor is good for the UFC because it brings people in, right? I mean, like, if he's not headlining that fight, I'm not watching.
Of course.
I'm not watching.
No, you're 100% right. And there's something more fun about it when he's.
And I like the arrogance. I like the cockiness, the bravado. Like, it reminds me of like when boxing was great and we had these characters and these guys that were kind of larger than life. And I like that about him. Mm-hmm. But it just feels like he's got 1 win in 5 years now.
Yep.
And listen, back
against Donald Cerrone, who's like dead.
Right.
He's Glass Joe. Donald Cerrone's Glass Joe. He's 1-99, and Little Mac's knocking him out. I mean,
now I do think it's fair that when McGregor was in his prime, he beat good fighters. I mean, it's not like he beat nobody. He beat good fighters.
Sure.
But it just feels like ever since the Mayweather fight, and he had the long time off before he took on Khabib, then he loses that fight, takes another long time off. It just feels like he's not really into it. Like, I don't know. I mean, this fight felt more like he was into it in the build-up to it. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, when you look at it, he's 32 years old, right? He's not that old. Mm-mm. He's the same age as Poirier, and Poirier is clearly at the top of his game.
Yep.
It just feels like McGregor's not really into this anymore.
He hasn't worked on his skills. And, you know, he made between 150 and $300 million for that Mayweather fight. But you could see a guy like Dustin Poirier. He's worked on his ground game. He's worked on his take. He's worked on all these facets of the game that Conor McGregor just simply hasn't worked on it. And I thought it was really cool what Daniel Cormier said before, you know, everything started. He said it feels fake. He was a nice guy in his last 2 fights. At the time, it felt fake. It felt like a guy who was trying to talk himself into something, even though he knew he was going to lose. And Sparty brings us up in the chat box, and that the McGregor fans think he was going to win this fight if he didn't break his leg. And even McGregor was sitting there. I was boxing his bleeding head off. The only person whose head was bleeding was you. You were bleeding out of your fucking ear.
Yeah,
you didn't stand a chance.
I was pulling for McGregor in that fight. I would have liked to see him kind of get back to a place of prominence, but under no, you know, you have to be delusional to think that he was winning that round and that he would have stood a chance going forward. I mean,
2 judges had it 10-8.
I mean, it was a brutal round for him. And honestly, it was a round of his own doing. I mean, he went for that guillotine when he had no business doing it, and put himself in a position to get pummeled on for 2.5 minutes.
Exactly. And everyone's, he broke his leg, doctor stoppage. The only thing that broken leg did, now look, those things are gross, and I hate seeing them when the ankles snap and they do all that weird shit. I'm not into it. But the only thing that broken leg did was save his face from getting pummeled for another 1.5 rounds until he finally quit. So he should be grateful that happened. Him screaming out, doctor stoppage. Oh, and then screaming out, your wife is still in my DMs.
Do you think his wife is in his DMs?
Well, not anymore, because let's approach it. Let's say she was in his DMs. Okay, well, first of all, you're a fucking idiot for saying it after the thing. You want to keep that on the low key, especially if you were enjoying your time, right? Don't you know how to keep a secret? Like when girls do that to me, when I'm hooking up with them and they start telling people about it, I don't talk to them anymore. You're done. You're out. We have a little secret thing, just like the 21-year-old. That's a secret thing. Keep your mouth shut.
It's not so secret anymore, friends.
Yeah, and it's also dumb because if that is true and Poirier finds out, you could say you want him on the sidewalk or anywhere else. I don't give a shit if this happens in Conor McGregor's front living room with his grandma watching. Dustin Poirier is going to kick the shit out of him, and rightfully so. I thought it was a bad look. Look, I'm down with saying, you know, crazy things and having some fun, but I just don't think – I thought that was a bad look on the – I thought it sounded like a little whiner. Like a 9-year-old who struck out and starts crying and sits on the bench. And trust me, I'm known to throw my golf clubs on the golf course. I get fucking pissed and I hate to lose. but I thought it was pretty petty. And I don't know. There was just nothing good about what I saw out of Conor. I think the sport has passed him by. He'll be like Mike Tyson when he got out of prison. A headline draw. It's a lot of fun, but he'll never be anyone of relevance again.
So where does he go from here? I mean, what does he do? Like if you're, and again, you talked about like the money that he made, right? The guy's got more money than fucking God.
Yep.
Do you really want to just come back to fight middle of the road guy? Like, is that, can you even get motivated for that?
I think the only people they can put him in against, they can't put him in against well-rounded fighters. Anybody with any semblance of, the wrestling or the jiu-jitsu, striking, he's got to be put in there with straight strikers. So it's going to have to be these little sideshow showcases, the Nate Diaz's, the Jorge Masvidal's. Yeah, maybe the Jake Pauls, he can box them. But in terms of like competing for a title or fighting anyone near the top, no, unless they just want to completely lower. Right now, they still need him for the money. So I suspect you'll see like a Nate Diaz fight or a Jorge Masvidal fight, something like that at a catch weight. But no, you're not going to see him fighting the Charles Oliveira's or the Dustin Poirier's again, unless Poirier's just sick of him and wants to beat the shit out of him again just for fun.
I mean, listen, if I'm Poirier, I'll take the fight anytime because it's going to be the biggest payday he'll get, and he's proven that he can handle him. So, like,
exactly.
If I'm Poirier, you want to do this again? Let's do it again.
Yeah, go ahead. Run your mouth some more, and I'll beat the shit out of you again because Conor has no chance. I mean, it's combat sports, so you always have that one punch chance, but that's it. And you never want to bet on a guy who only has the one punch chance. I tried to tell anyone who would listen, you can't bet the one-dimensional way. It's like if you took a team in college football and they run the triple wishbone and they just run the football, and then they're going up against a guy with a real quarterback, like, you're going to need to get really, really lucky. You probably have a 15 or 20% win equity. That's why I thought him at like plus 115 and Poirier at minus 135. I thought the line was wrong. It was easy money for me on Poirier.
I like it. So, kind of shifting gears a little bit, still in the combat sports realm. We were going to have a big heavyweight title fight this month.
Yep.
Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder 3, which I was very much looking forward to.
Me too.
Now, Tyson Fury's got COVID, so that's postponed until what, October, November? Who the fuck knows? But man, first of all, I love Tyson Fury for, again, the same reasons I like McGregor. I like the showmanship of him. And he did an unbelievable job in that second fight. But I wanted to see it again because I've watched Deontay Wilder for years, and I don't know that I've seen a human being with more power in one punch than Deontay Wilder.
Agreed.
I'm curious to see how that thing unfolds. I mean, what was your take on the two of them?
Well, so, I mean, we remember the first fight. Fury was very lucky to get away with the draw in that fight. I know a lot of people thought he won on the round. I'll just say this, for boxing decisions, and as bad as they can be, I thought that fight was a draw. Yeah, I mean, the only thing I would say about that is if that fight would have gone on another 30 seconds, Fury is out completely cold. I mean, he whitewashed. The second fight was interesting. I knew you could tell right away, and he sort of made this excuse, and I don't want to make excuses for Wilder, but he came into the ring with a 50-pound fucking face mask on his head, which was just stupid. And then he took that shot to the side of the ear early on, and you could tell his equilibrium was way off. So you didn't really get to see the best version of Deontay Wilder in that fight. I love watching Deontay Wilder. I do think of all the heavyweights out there, the only one who can really challenge and give Fury trouble is Deontay Wilder. Anthony Joshua's a can. I don't give a shit.
Either one of these guys would kill Anthony Joshua.
Yeah, Deontay Wilder would knock Anthony Joshua's head. That's why Anthony Joshua ducked him for years. And I'm not giving Wilder an excuse. It was a stupid idea to wear that damn costume. Just the dumbest thing you could possibly do. I don't know how any of his handlers or trainers or anyone around him could ever think that was a good idea. But no, that was the one I was really looking forward to. I'm really disappointed. And just in Tyson Fury's point, I know you're a wild dude. You like to go out and do blow and party, and I respect it and I love it. But if you're a prize fighter making millions of dollars, go get the fucking shot. So this isn't a problem anymore. Just get it done. Why the hell are we still talking about COVID? It's over. I hate to tell this to all the world.
Agree more.
I hate all these whiny people. I still see people driving by themselves with a mask on. You're a fucking idiot. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Like, you're just bringing us back hundreds of years. It drives me absolutely up a wall. If you're going to risk your professional career because you don't want to go get a fucking shot that takes 5 minutes to get, stupid. Go get the damn shot. Let's have these mega fights. I'm really bummed that this is delayed. And I think it actually hurts Tyson Fury because you can't trust this guy in his own. He sort of has some issues
Well, I mean, yeah, we've seen it in the past, right? I mean, he had mental health problems, substance abuse problems, ballooned, up to almost 400 pounds at one point, and I mean, even now, I mean, like you said, I mean, he seems to have his shit in order for the most part. But I remember there was a time a couple of months ago where he said that he just wasn't eating. He was drinking like 12 pints of beer a day. I mean, like, I don't know. Like, I don't know where this guy's head's at.
That's what I mean. And now you want to, if you're his handlers, you're nervous as shit, right? So now he's got COVID. Maybe this depresses him a little bit. I don't know how he's reacting to it. And now you're going to trust him to keep his shit together and train and be ready in 3 more months. I don't know. I know we'll be getting plus money on Wilder, and I'll be taking it when that fight happens. I'm telling you that right now.
Yeah, I think I'm with you just because, I mean, like I said, I've never seen someone – if you want a show, go on YouTube when this is over and look at Deontay Wilder's top 10 knockouts.
Yep.
Because a couple of them looks like he killed the guy. I mean, he really, like, Deontay Wilder, I think, is capable of killing a human being in the ring.
Yes, he is. And who's the kid? Was it Bermain Stivern, where he literally backs up, pats himself on the chest, tells him, I'm going to knock you out, and then knocks him out. I don't think that second fight would have looked the way it did had he not lost his equilibrium in his ear when he got that. He took that shot, his ear started to bleed, and he was wobbled ever since, right after that. Not to take anything away from Fury. The dude's a monster and so skilled and so good, and he absolutely whooped his ass. But
and he's so fast for a guy who does not look like he should be fast.
Exactly. Like I mean, it would just be terrifying to be standing, in front of Tyson Fury. He's an absolute monster. But Wilder's power can absolutely get there. And I do think he might be taking him a little lightly and not taking this as serious as he should. And Deontay Wilder, a man with that kind of ego, that kind of power, who was embarrassed the way that he was in his first ever professional defeat, he's coming in hot, and he's probably even more pissed now. Dude's going to be ready to go. Early on, I'm going to take that plus money on Wilder. I love both fighters. These are my 2 favorite heavyweights.
Agreed.
I love them both. Anthony Joshua, I think, is an absolute joke. I can't stand it.
Anthony Joshua only has any acclaim because he took a belt off the Klitschko's. But if you go back and watch that fight, yes, and I'll give him credit. He won. He won the fight against a 40-year-old Vladimir Klitschko. But Klitschko put him down twice during the fight too. The guy he does not have a jaw.
Yep. He has no chance. He has no chance against Fury or Wilder, in my opinion. That would be easy. And I can believe that he lost to Andy Ruiz. I thought it as soon as they walked in the ring.
He doesn't have a jaw.
Yeah, exactly. I completely agree. Anthony Joshua, way down on my list in terms of heavyweights, but there's not a lot of great ones right now. So hopefully we get to see this fight in, what'd they say, September now? Hopefully it happens. That's kind of where I'm at.
That would be the best. All right, let's transition to a different subject here. The NFL. We're getting closer and closer to the start of the NFL season, which just kind of puts life back into focus a little bit. You know where your Sundays are going to be. Everything is clearer.
Vegas week 1 is not going to be very clear. Vegas week 1, I know that.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Had some bad news out of the NFL today. The Falcons, Barkevious Mingo, released after what ESPN delicately called an indecency charge. Sounds more like statutory rape to me, but that's what it sounds like to speaking. And Frank Clark from the Chiefs is got a felony weapons charge also.
Yep.
I don't understand, Kyle, and this is just, I don't know. I'm not the brightest guy in the fucking world. I've done my share of dumb shit. But you've got tens of millions of dollars on the line.
Yeah.
You were a professional football player.
Yeah.
First of all, in the case of Barkevious Mingo, you could have sex with virtually anybody you fucking want. Okay? Mm-hmm. What are you doing with a child? And Frank Clark, what are you doing with all the fucking guns?
Yeah,
what are you doing?
Yeah. So the Frank Clark thing, let's start there first because the Mingo stuff's still a little bit hazy. They're saying, hey, this is a money grab. I didn't do anything. And of course they're going to say that. So I hate painting people as a predator because I have known, a person or two to lie about things to get attention. I have a female is one of my dear friends, but I know everything she ever says is a lie. That girl will go and give two guys a hand job at the same time and tell me she was raped. I've seen it with my own two eyes. So I'm always a little hesitant. I want to make sure that he is actually guilty of this because there's nothing worse than being accused of being a pedophile, right? Of sleeping with someone young. If he did do it, lock him up, throw away the key. You're a fucking idiot. Take his money, do what you got to do. But Frank Clark, okay, first of all, you're a monster of a man. You have enough money to hire 4,000 security guards at all times. Why the fuck do you need to pack a gun? It just doesn't make
gun, Kyle. He's driving around LA with a submachine gun in the car. Exactly. What are you planning on doing?
Exactly. I just don't get it. Like, I guess it's some sort of bullshit ego street cred thing that you're doing. I don't get it. Use your fucking brain. It's like these guys that get the DUI charges too. Like, dude, the NFL literally says they'll pay for it, even though why would you need to pay someone who makes, $5.5 million, $10.5 million a year for them to have a driver? And you're running around. First of all, if I had that much money, I would never drive another day in my life. Why the fuck would I ever do that? Second, why do I need to drive around with a gun? I would have so much security and so much everything else. I mean, maybe you just chalk it up. These guys have just lost their brains. Maybe the CTE's setting in early. To me, it's the dumbest fucking thing you could possibly do. And I don't know why if it's the girl, maybe she was 16. Again, I'm not calling her a liar. I'm not espousing that at all. Sometimes those things make me feel a little nervous. You hate to be the guy that's like, okay, this guy's a rapist and a pedophile. Then you find, like the whole Duke lacrosse situation, right? And
yeah, you're right.
You just sort of hate that. Now, if it's true, which I'm not saying it's not true, but if it is true, the dude deserves every bad thing that's coming to him. And you're right. What the hell is wrong with you? Like, why are you so unconfident that you won't just go after a grown woman?
And by the way, just to jump around a little bit, speaking of people who deserve bad things happening to them, how satisfying is it to watch Greg Hardy get knocked out?
Oh, it was beautiful. And there was an easy call. I know we were both on Tai Tuivasa, but God, is there anything better? Like the fact that he's able to, we're talking about a guy who didn't just beat a woman. He laid his guns out on the bed and then beat her on top of them. There's a special cold place in hell. We sort of joked about Hitler the last show, and you remember Little Nicky where Hitler's getting the pineapples up his ass. That's right where Greg Hardy belongs. He's a piece of shit. I'm glad he got knocked out, and I hope his MMA career is quickly dwindling away because the guy's fucking useless.
Yeah, he is human garbage. He's just an absolute trash person. Yep. And there are a few things that, like, especially on Twitter when you're talking about gambling and sports, there's always like that group of assholes who will disagree with anything you say. Nobody disagrees about Greg Hardy.
Yep.
We're all on the same page here.
Yep. Yeah, I wonder if there would be. I guess that'll be a fun little test. I think after the show, I'm going to tweet out Greg Hardy is a piece of shit, that is all, and see if anyone tries to defend him, because we live in a crazy-ass world where you could – I swear to God, even last night, people are bitching after the 5-pick parlay. Like, well, I saw it after the first. Why didn't you put it out earlier? I'm like, fuck, it was 30 minutes before the fights. How is that my problem? They still find a way.
Set an alert.
It's just, I don't know. People can find a way to bitch about everything, especially now. All the woke boys. It looks like we did lose our one woke boy, Tim Allen or whatever that idiot was. Everyone attacked him. Good job. At least the people watching this show now. I love it. I love it. They understand what we're doing. They get it. And they're not a bunch of pussies in here, which I enjoy doing shows for those types of people.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's go back to the NFL now that we're done with Greg Hardy. Shitbag.
Shitbag.
Is Aaron Rodgers going to be in Green Bay? Your favorite place?
I don't think so. I really don't. Because now
he sure as hell looks like he's not going.
He looks like he's not going, and how could he now, right? Because he's doubled down, not once, not twice, every time he's doubling down. Now, he did say that we'll see while he's playing golf. First of all, fuck that reporter for asking. I'm playing golf, bro, and I'm playing golf with Tom Brady and Bryson DeChambeau. I don't want your little hot take questions coming out on the golf course. When I'm on the golf course, I have my phone on for music. But if someone, especially if someone I've already told, hey, I'm going golfing, I'll see you in a few, and they try to call me, unless it's an emergency from my son, we're no longer friends. Like, you've broken all code. So I think that's why he said, though, we'll see. But I think for his own ego, he can't be this hard line this far into it and as angry as he says he is and then cave and let Green Bay get away with this. I don't think he's going to be a Packer. You could very well see him sitting out, and maybe Green Bay finally wakes up and agrees to trade him. Sparty brings up in the chat box, Aaron to Denver. It's one of the weirdest wild cards when looking at futures betting, because Denver, you're getting a nice price, and Denver would be the one team with the picks, the young players, and even a little replacement quarterback if they want to throw them Drew Lock, who absolutely sucks, or Teddy Bridgewater. Bridgewater, I like Teddy Bridgewater. He's way better than Drew Lock. The Denver Broncos could be if you want to get on the bandwagon now, I wouldn't put my mortgage on it, but if you're looking for some big plus money on a playoff team or a team to win the AFC, Denver, with all that talent around him, would be one of my favorites to win the whole thing if they got
I'm with you, because I remember on draft night when this broke and Schlereth was saying that he thought it was close that Rodgers was going to go to Denver. There were people being like, well, why would he want to go there? It makes all the sense in the world why he'd want to go there. I mean, they have a ton of talent at the skill positions, right? I mean, they've got Melvin Gordon in the backfield. They've got Noah Fant, who can catch passes, Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy,
KJ Hamler, absolute speed demon, Tim Patrick. I mean, you can go up and down.
And that defense, the thing that people miss about this defense is the defense was like league average last year, but they were on the field constantly with Drew Lock as the quarterback. If Aaron Rodgers is your quarterback, that defense is going to play 15 fewer plays a game.
Mm-hmm. And they got destroyed by injuries. They actually had a terrific secondary last year. They had Bouye and Bryce Callahan. The problem is they both got hurt. So then they were relying on these third, fourth, fifth string defensive backs. And remember, Von Miller was out. And the other kid, pass rusher, whose name's escaping me right now, he also got hurt. But the Broncos defense, when they were healthy and both those corners were on the field, it was tough to score on. Look at that Chiefs game on Sunday Night Football.
This point that Chase brings up is the one that I've heard the most, which is, why would you want to go to the same division as Patrick Mahomes? Okay, we as objective people can say that at this point, Patrick Mahomes is probably a better quarterback than Aaron Rodgers.
Yep.
But if I'm Aaron Rodgers, I don't believe that. If I'm Aaron Rodgers, I say, fuck you, give me Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, and fuck you.
I'm not afraid of Patrick Mahomes. If I'm Aaron Rodgers, I'm not scared of this guy.
And I no longer have to live in Green Bay, Wisconsin. I get to move to Denver. I mean, you ever been to Denver? That's
awesome.
That's a beautiful city, and the women are absolutely out of this world. Everything is better in Denver than it is in Green Bay, Wisconsin. So I don't think he cares. It could be Jesus Christ himself starting for the Kansas City Chiefs. He would 100% rather be in Denver than Green Bay.
You're close, Chase. It's not Nick Chubb. It's Bradley Chubb.
Bradley Chubb. That was the pass rusher. Thank you very much. Yeah, see, I'm getting old. I forget things.
And the Chiefs are a proven team. I get it. The Chiefs are great. But, they're like any other team. They've had turnover in the offensive line. Injuries happen. Shit happens. If I'm Aaron Rodgers, I'm not concerned about having to play the Chiefs twice a year. I'm thinking I can go at least 1-1 against them.
Yeah, and you get to play the Raiders twice. There's 2 victories right there.
There you go.
I mean, and the Chargers will be all right, so that those could be interesting games. But no, I don't think Patrick Mahomes I don't think Aaron Rodgers is thinking, oh, I would go there, but he's so much better than me. That's not how those kinds of people think. Aaron Rodgers,
nor should he.
And he's an egotistical fuck who has proven to be one of the most talented. Before Patrick Mahomes came along, in my mind, I had never seen anyone play quarterback the way Aaron Rodgers did, just in terms of pure talent and skill, throwing on the run, being able to run arm angles and across his body, just all the special things he could do. And then, of course, Mahomes took some, is that on steroids. But no, I don't think that Patrick Mahomes is scaring Aaron Rodgers away from anything. And I really don't see him starting game 1 for Green Bay. I just don't see it.
And let's be honest, too. The fucking Packers wasted the bulk of this guy's prime.
Yes, they did.
Never having a decent defense, no running game until finally they got Aaron Jones. They just wasted it. And then finally, Mike McCarthy, all that nonsense. Mm-hmm. Finally, you bring in LaFleur. They seem to click. They go to an NFC title game, and your next answer is, we're going to take a quarterback in the first round. Are you out of your fucking mind? Are you out of your fucking mind?
Oh yeah, and then to add salt to the wound, this year when they announce on draft day, oh, I want the fuck out of Green Bay, with their first round pick, you're like, there's no way Green Bay doesn't do something to say, sorry, Aaron Rodgers, we're going to finally draft you a wide receiver. They're like, nah, we're going to draft another defensive back, even though we don't fucking need one. They actually have really solid corners in King and Alexander, etc. And they're like, yeah, we're going to use this first round pick on another fucking corner. They are really trying to piss him off, and I just don't see it. I don't see Aaron Rodgers coming back.
And you know what the thing is, Kyle? For a fucking organization that went through this with Brett Favre, you would think they would have learned something, right? Because a lot of the same people are still in place there. The Packers are not run like a traditional franchise,
right?
What are you doing here? Chasing away what is now, I would argue, the greatest player in your franchise history.
Yep.
For what? Fucking Jordan Love?
It's the most bizarre thing I have ever seen. And that's another reason why I think he'd love to go to Denver, because John Elway just proved it with Peyton Manning. He will go to the ends of the earth.
And that's the thing. John Elway will spend money, and he will find a way to put players around you.
And he'll preserve your legacy. He's going to treat you with respect. Even when Peyton Manning's neck was done and he couldn't throw the ball more than 15 yards, he couldn't wait to yank Brock Osweiler to throw.
Listen, that's a great point, because think back to that time. There was a lot of people. This was before we knew what Brock Osweiler was. He had a few good wins there in Denver in that stretch.
The Patriots
New England in that game, in the snow. People were saying Brock Osweiler should probably quarterback this team. And as soon as Peyton Manning was healthy, no, he's the guy.
Yeah. They respect their players way more than they ever will in Green Bay. Green Bay hasn't made a good free agent acquisition since they signed Reggie White. I mean, that's
fair. It is.
They don't do it. They don't go after elite talent. They draft terribly. The only reason they've been relevant is that quarterback spot. And you're right. They've wasted one of the greatest quarterbacks. In my mind, the second most talented. I mean, you could put a Steve Young in there, real special. But just the way Aaron Rodgers played the game was a way I had never seen a quarterback play it until Patrick Mahomes. And they wasted it with the dumbest coach I've ever seen grace the field. And Aaron Rodgers said it himself, and Mike McCarthy. And then just, I don't understand the Packers. I just don't understand. I don't understand that team. I don't understand how they run it. I don't understand the fans with the stupid fucking hats on their head. I hate everything about the Packers. Everything about them.
I don't get it either. Yeah. It's a strange situation. And if you're Aaron Rodgers, you've got to look at Tom Brady, right, and be like, dude, this guy packed up after 20 years, went to Tampa Bay, which was the losingest franchise in all of North American sports, and wins a Super Bowl in year one.
Yep.
Why the fuck can't I do that in Denver?
Yep, exactly. And they don't just do that. They're like, hey, you want us to bring your buddy Gronk who retired?
Sure.
We'll do it. You want us to re-sign everyone and bring them back? We're going to do it. We'll do anything you want. And they sure as hell didn't go out and draft a quarterback in the first round either, did they? And Tom Brady is fucking, 57
43 years old.
Yeah, for Christ's sake.
And just signed an extension.
That's right. They respect their players. And when you're looking at, he's probably looking right at Tom Brady going, what must it be like to be respected by your team? No respect. I think it'll be hard for Aaron Rodgers to save face and go back to Green Bay.
Yeah.
It'll just be weird, because then I think I'll look at him a little different. Like, I don't know if you have any real conviction to your principles, man, because with that kind of ego, I know if I say something like that, I'm never going there again. I'm not going back there again, especially in front of millions of people who have heard me say, I'm not going back there. I think it's just too tough for his ego to go back.
And it just kind of goes to the general, like a general principle of employment, right? Like, do you really want someone who doesn't want to be there?
Nope.
Like, I understand how talented he is, but do you really want him there if he doesn't want to be there?
Yeah. Why would you want that? Why would you want that?
Let me ask you about another guy, Deshaun Handjob Watson. Do you think that he is still getting happy endings in Houston this year?
Well, I think that's the only thing he'll be getting in Houston, because he won't be on the field. There's no way he can play. If they don't get this thing, if they don't settle the civil suit before it happens, he's going to go on the exempt list, because this thing's not going to go to trial until it looks like February of 2022 is what they're talking
at the earliest.
About. If he does agree to pay in a civil suit, you've just admitted guilt, and he's going to be suspended for at least 6 games. Nobody wants to trade for him anymore. I promise you that deal the 49ers made to move up to the 3rd pick to take Trey Lance is exactly the deal they were going to offer for Deshaun Watson. Now you can't touch him with a 10-foot pole. Deshaun Watson, that one, it's kind of sad, right? Because it was exciting going into the offseason. Like, wow, you never see quarterbacks in their prime at this age available. You just don't see it. And it was kind of wherever he goes, they're going to be one of the favorites to win everything. And now it's sort of in limbo. I think best case for Deshaun Watson is he can play after week 7. But I'm not even sure that's going to happen. The NFL, they mess these things up on a regular basis.
They do. But how crazy does it seem now? Because when this story first broke, there was a report that he could have settled this for 6 figures before it came out. Again, kind of what we're talking about with Frank Clark. What are you thinking?
What do you think? Get it done now. Yeah. Offer him 10 times more and shut this up. And he had to know what he was doing, because at first it was like, okay, we're getting reports that Busby was the old owner of the Texans' neighbor, and maybe they're trying to stop him from being traded. Pretty sure Deshaun Watson knew I've been creeping on women on Instagram and trying to get
the thing, right? Like, you know what you've done, right? Like, you know what you've done.
He was jizzing on his own belly and like dry humping the air, dude. I mean, it's the creepiest and grossest thing. And listen, I am not going to sit here and say I've never gone in for a happy ending massage, because I have. I took my little brother on his 18th birthday for his very first one. It's one of my proudest moments.
It's good brothering.
Thank you very much. But dry humping the air and forcing their hands on you, no. You only do that at the you only get the happy endings where they agree to do it. They understand that's what they do. That's what brings in the business. The curtains are up on the front of the massage parlor. There's a certain way to do it. He loses. He's a fucking idiot, first of all.
But again, I mean, if we think about this, because you and I haven't spoken about this, how sad is it that a 28-year-old, 25-year-old professional athlete in the prime of his career, making hundreds of millions of dollars, good-looking guy, good reputation, and you're flying women around the country for a handy?
It's so weird. It doesn't make any sense.
For a handy?
For a handy.
Right. You do it like Robert Kraft.
Exactly.
You go into the Jade Palace, you leave the money on the table, you lay down, and what happens, happens.
Exactly. And if it doesn't happen, you don't start dry humping the air. You just take your losses. Trust me, there's plenty of times where I was hoping the happy ending happened, but I didn't start like gooing on myself and dry humping the air and weird shit like that. Like, that's a weird dude. Like I don't know.
How sad is that? That like this is what you're doing. You're just hard up for a handy.
It's so weird. I just don't get it. I'll never understand the Deshaun Watson thing. It is sad. It's really sad. He's never going to be respected again. Even in the locker room, dudes are going to look at him like, "What are you stupid? Like, how stupid could you possibly be?
What are you doing?"
And now you're trying to act like you're innocent. No, dude, there's like 50 women who have come out. I'm sorry, that's way too much smoke. The fire has been started. It's burning. You're inside of it. You're done. And you're kind of a goofball, too. What woman's going to want to date him, too? Yeah. I know he's got money, but the money's the only reason, though, right? Like, kind of a goofball. It's just.
I will say, I think there's one team out there that I could see pulling the trigger on this, even if he's on the exempt list for like 6 weeks.
Cowboys or the Raiders?
Miami. Yeah. I could see Miami doing it. If Tua gets out to a slow start, I could see Miami going along and offering like 2 first-round picks to try to get this thing done. And you know what? If you're going to be weird and like kind of sexually creepy, South Florida is not the worst place to go.
That's true. You can get away with it more. Didn't Robert Kraft go to Florida to get away with this thing too?
Jupiter. Well, Robert Kraft had a house down here in Florida, and this place was like around the corner. But, you know, I will still say this as a lawyer. What Robert Kraft did was not solicitation of prostitution.
No.
There has to be an exchange of money for sex. Robert Kraft walked in the room, left a tip on the table, sat down, and the woman jerked him off. That's not prostitution.
Yes, and I feel confident in saying, now I'm not the biggest Patriots fan or Robert Kraft fan, but I feel confident in saying if she didn't do that,
he would have walked out.
I don't think he'd be thrusting the air and like moaning and making moaning sounds and stuff. What in the hell is that? It's so grimy. It's just, there's no reason to be that desperate when you're that rich, that successful, that famous, that good looking at that age.
None of it. And the crazy thing, Kyle, is if you think back a year ago, Deshaun Watson had like a sterling reputation.
Yep.
He was the poster boy for like what you want in a franchise. Took care of like teams the employees of the team when they had that flooding and the hurricane. Like, guy was just it was kind of like Tiger Woods in a way. I mean, he was like the poster child for what you want in a marquee athlete. And then it's all down the tubes over a few hand jobs.
It's so weird. And even his own family, like, how do you walk into a room with your mom and your cousins? And, oh my God. Oh God, the whole thing is so weird. And it is sort of hard to, of course, you don't try to visualize these sorts of things.
You can't help it.
You can't help it. But it's just that, like, if one of my female friends came to me and said, I have a couple who are masseuses, and said the guy started moaning, and I'd be like, run for that. This is the weirdest dude with just no dignity or pride or character or self-control. The Deshaun Watson thing sucks. It's sad. It is. It's really a tragic. I wonder what his career is going to be after this. I don't think he's playing this year, and I wonder who's going to want to touch him. Maybe I don't even know if the Raiders will. I think the only way is if Dak Prescott gets hurt again. Jerry Jones would pull the trigger. He does. I'm sure Now, the one owner I could see actually doing all those things would be Jerry Jones, but
I could see Jerry Jones because Jerry Jones would view him as a wingman. But Miami to me makes some sense. I don't know. The Dolphins were very interested in him. Obviously, now they didn't have to give up this year's first-round pick, which they used on wide receiver. The price obviously has dropped. I mean, there's no way around that. The price has dropped. And also, Houston, at some point, doesn't Houston have to be considering this because they just spent $10 million on Tyrod Taylor, which, I mean, I don't know why you spend $10 million on Tyrod Taylor under any circumstances. And I like him. I like Tyrod Taylor.
Mad props to Tyrod Taylor, but no.
Listen, I like the kid. I really do. I like Tyrod Taylor. He doesn't turn the ball over. He can move around. He's not, he's accurate enough. I think he's fine. But for you to give Tyrod Taylor $10 million, aren't you kind of thinking like this guy's probably not going to be here?
They already know. That's why they drafted David Mills as well in the third round, and they already know.
You can get Tyrod for $30K in a bus pass.
You should, and he's really afraid of doctors. Holy moly! I mean, he's never taken a shot again. I'll tell you that. No, he's not letting anyone ever put a needle in his body again. But Houston knows he won't be there. If the NFL lets him play week 1, they're going to have a massive PR problem on their hands. I just don't see it happening. No way.
Yeah, it's strange. We got some weird guys in the NFL right now.
Yeah, we do.
Handjob Watson, Russell Wilson.
Oh God,
re-virginized.
I can't stand him. Yes, the holy water that heals his, concussions, and
he does.
I'm not gonna bang Sierra, and oh God, Russ. I cannot stand Russ. I think he's the most fake dude in the world, and I've already said the story of that movie Draft Day. He's the one where his teammates didn't go to his 21st birthday because he's fake. He's talented. He's a great player, but he's so fake. I would never want to spend a minute with Russell. I wouldn't take a picture with him to improve my brand. Like, hey, me and Russell Wilson hanging out. I would rather go golfing with a woman. I'd rather watch my grandma in a bukkake video than spend 1 minute with Russell Wilson. I'm dead fucking serious about that. I never want to spend a minute with that guy. No way in hell.
I'd rather watch my grandmother in a bukkake video.
Which would be very disturbing, by the way, and you never want to watch another one again. I mean, you shouldn't be watching bukkake videos anyways. That's sort of a Deshaun Watson thing, but no.
Your grandma has pizzazz.
She does have pizzazz. She's a crazy lady and would think the joke is funny, but nonetheless, no. Don't want that. Wow. That would draw viewers. Holy moly.
Holy shit. That took a little bit of a turn.
That's why the show's fun. We're allowed to say those things.
So let's talk about some other disgusting things like the Euro soccer final. That happened today.
Yeah.
Italy got the win in penalty kicks. I don't know. I guess it's a thing to a lot of people in the world. I know that England hasn't won like an international tournament in like 40 years. And if we're being honest, I did watch the penalty kicks portion of the program.
Mm-hmm.
Brutal. I mean, the first guy that missed for England when he had the wide open net and hits it off the post. That's a tough one, right? I mean, that's a tough one. The guy who missed at the end, the last kick, I don't really blame him. I mean, the keeper just guessed right? I mean, like that's what it is in penalty kicks as a goalkeeper. You're guessing. You have to go one way or the other. He had it pegged from the jump. But I don't know, man. I mean, does this do anything for you?
No, soccer does nothing for me.
Thank you.
Oh, right, another 1-1 game, and let me know when they get rid of the offsides. Let me know when they're allowed to act. They're so resistant to goals. It's like soccer doesn't want it to be exciting. It's like they want these boring ass games coming down to penalty kicks. Good Lord, no, thank you. Soccer is so terrible. Oh, I love the chat. The chat box is going aggressive on this.
The chat box is hot on you at the moment, my friend.
Yeah, I was actually never married in Oregon. We were in California at the time. And of course, I've never hit a woman. I'm not a coward.
And someone who says you don't see your kid. Your kid has been with you for the first 2 shows that we've done. He lives with you.
He lives with me full time. He actually hasn't seen his mom in almost 4 years. So I guess we could address all of that. But that's pretty funny. Feel free. I'd love to see that. No. I actually have never been to jail in Oregon. I did go a couple times
in Oregon.
I did go to jail a couple times for a DUI in California when I was 21 years old. 2 times in 1 year at 21. But that's
wait, hold on. You got popped for 2 DUIs on 1 trip?
Well, no, just in 1 year. My 21st year was a wild year. Once was in Vegas. Once was technically in Vegas, and then once in Southern California.
Okay.
So, wow.
I was going to say, if you went on vacation for like a week and got 2 DUIs.
I thought Sparty was my friend too. I don't know what turned down there. I'm sorry, Sparty.
No, it was all about you earlier in the show.
Well, damn, Dominic, I don't know shit about you. I could care less. Like no one cares about your opinion. But I thought me and Sparty were cool. I didn't know what happened. No, my son is not old enough to gamble, so he's not allowed to. Thought those things were, those unspoken things that you just knew. But I said the world, the world's a crazy place, and people like to get awfully tough. On the internet.
The first one's a mulligan.
Thank you very much. I mean, it was almost 19 years ago. So, that was the last time I went to jail 19 years ago.
Chase passed the field sobriety test once, so he thinks he should be accepted into the space program.
Absolutely. 100%.
Hey, 100%. Those tests, they're crazy.
Yeah, first of all, I don't walk straight anyways,
Listen, I worked in criminal law for 8 years on both sides of the fence. Touching your nose, I mean, standing on 1 foot, walking in a straight line, it's nonsense. I mean, first of all, if you really want to tip out there for anyone who drinks, and I don't advocate drinking and driving ever, don't do it. Uber, there's no reason for it. But when you're drinking at home, just practice those things.
Yeah,
you'll get better at them.
Just do the alphabet
standing on 1 leg.
just practice the alphabet backwards. I actually sometimes do that, but it is tough. You have to do it forwards and then slowly go backwards. By then, they've already handcuffed you.
Yeah, it's kind of nonsense, but I mean,
it's too late. Well, I did my classes, did the thing. It was fine. 19 years ago, not a big deal. It wasn't even that expensive back then. It was like Porky's days.
Today.
Yeah. Well, now I'm rich enough where I just have people drive me. So
there you go. There you go. A lesson that maybe Frank Clark should learn.
And I just got my son his driver's license, so he drives me around too if I need him to.
You mean your son that you never see?
My son that I never see, he drives me around a lot. It's actually a cute story. He's with his grandparents on a trip up to the lake, and they were going to go for 2 weeks. And my son called and goes, "Well, we're going to come back after a week because I don't like being away from my dad that long." So there we go.
You terrible father.
Yes, that's me. Terrible father. Terrible man. I do my best. And thank you, What the Sports. I appreciate you coming in.
People are a wild ride, man.
Yeah, they are. The internet's a wild place, but that's what makes it fun. They can't all love you. You got to have some of that hate keep you down, They can't. That way your head doesn't get too big. They can get you down. All I have to say is you're the one sitting here watching my show, making sure we get money. That's all I have to say. So every comment you make makes us another $1 every single time you comment. So thank you very much. I don't care what you say in there. It's actually kind of fun, but we do our best to make it entertaining for you, and we appreciate you being here.
That's right. So you alluded to the Major League Baseball All-Star game coming up.
Yes.
I don't think there's anything in sports I have less interest in than an All-Star game on a Tuesday evening.
Nope, won't watch a single pitch.
Don't care about it. And that's aside from the fact that there's just an enormous number of guys not playing in this game. But, that is what it is. Did you see the story out of Denver where they arrested these guys that were planning a shooting?
Yeah, they're saying that was no, but Jesus, come on, people. Again, this is the kind, we're kind of probably dealing with one of these right here,
Yep, Dominic is definitely a mass shooter.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't shock me at all, but it's these people what has to happen in your brain where your good idea is to go and shoot a bunch of people you don't know? What happened? What happened to you? Did your parents watch too much Fox News? Did the priest? I mean, I don't know what happened. It's sad to me. It's sad that people are even able to buy that many guns. That was ridiculous in the first place. How they're able to travel there, get in there. Luckily, a maid saw the guns.
Dude, and I'll tell you this. In the world we live in with the media that we have, not nearly enough credit is given to someone like that. She could have very easily just turned a blind eye to it and just been like, nope, not my business.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
thank God
she stopped God knows how many people from getting shot.
Yeah, it's crazy. The world is crazy. People have lost their fucking mind. And a problem of it is the social media thing here where people think everything's supposed to be awesome. The Real Housewives and the Kardashians, all this bullshit where even I can go on social media and find plenty of my friends who I know their life absolutely sucks. Dominic, if you want to come by, you could DM me on Twitter. You can, if you want to come to my address and run your mouth in my face, you're more than welcome to. That's not going to work out the way you think it's going to. But number two, and so they think all these things are supposed to be beautiful, and they see their own life sucks, and they turn into these dark, weird people. I don't know. It's sad. I'm really grateful for that maid. I think all the people in Denver around that area should. I've never blocked anyone in my life, as a matter of fact. I don't know how to do that even. I've never blocked anyone on Twitter, so I don't know. I don't know what you did to yourself there. But no, it's sad. Thank God for that maid. The Major League Baseball All-Star game. The only cool thing about it, props to Shohei Ohtani. You got a guy like Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who won't even participate in the home run derby because he's afraid about losing his swing. Ohtani's going to do the home run derby. He's going to pitch in that game. He's going to hit in that game. He's the real MVP. That dude is absolute must-watch TV. Big props to Shohei Ohtani. I think that's the only interesting thing about the All-Star game, but I'll be on the golf course during that game. I won't be watching a single pitch.
XFL Jim says his theory is everything went to shit when the XFL stopped its season.
It was a bummer.
Good news. Sparty's back on your side.
Thank you, Sparty. I think.
He said Dominic wouldn't do shit.
No, of course he wouldn't.
He's a keyboard warrior.
He would get bitch slapped. I would make him my bitch. And then if he keeps running his mouth, I could fuck his mom and be his stepdad and see him at Christmas. Now, if that's the way you want to go, and trust me, I have a way with the ladies. So next thing you know, I'll see you at Christmas and you'll be mad at me because I didn't get you the sweater you wanted. So
you're not going to get him a nice gift?
Probably not. Maybe. It just depends. It seems like he needs one.
Probably.
He probably needs one. Maybe I'll just give him a hug. I don't know.
That's probably what he needs most. All right, everyone. This has been fun. We're back. The backdoor cover every Sunday night, 11 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be incredible. We're going to get really into a momentum here. Get going as the summer moves on and we head into college football, the NFL. It's going to be, I think it's going to be the only show you need to watch.
Yeah, I mean, we're allowed to shout out to Better Than Vegas, by the way. No one else would let us come out here and have the kind of fun that we have. Nah. It's a refreshing change, and that's the whole point. This is supposed to be fun. I absolutely welcome the harsh comments and everything like that. I think it's a lot of fun. This is supposed to be a space where you can have fun, speak your mind, say what you want. So we really appreciate you guys doing that. I appreciate Better Than Vegas, and of course, I appreciate this beautiful son of a bitch sitting next to me because this is the most fun I ever have doing a show right here.
Well, we'll be back next Sunday and every Sunday after that, 11 p.m. Eastern, so don't miss it right here at Better Than Vegas. Kyle, have a good week, buddy. We'll be back next week.
Brother.